And of course, the air conditioning comes on. Because it's October, and it's still like 80-something degrees outside. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to some more Let's Play The Consuming Shadow. Woo! It's been a year since I think we fired up this game, and it is October. And as you all know, or maybe you don't know, during the fall months of September to November, I like playing Halloweenish type games. The fall months are my favorite months. I like playing all sorts of old creepy games or thematic games, and The Consuming Shadow fits the bill. So, we're gonna start playing more Consuming Shadow. If I recall, when we left off, I was making a bunch of bad decisions, and I think in my last episode, if I remember from a year ago, I banished the wrong god. What a way to fail at the very end of that. Right. If you're not familiar with The Consuming Shadow, this is a... Oh, how do you describe it? I guess it's a survival horror of sorts, but we are seeking the spell, a certain ritual, to banish an ancient eldritch evil, which is trying to be brought into our dimension by the acts of a certain cult. We will need to piece together how to cast the spell, and which god, is the one that needs to be banished. If we make the wrong choice and banish the wrong god, or we don't know the banishment ritual in a certain amount of time, I think it's 3 days, then, well, actually it depends upon the character that you choose, then it's over, and you lose. Otherwise, you're in battle with the ancient eldritch god, assuming you can get that far in the game, and it's possible to defend yourself from it and actually get a decent score. Last year, I also got, I think, my first A in the game. Anyway, that's enough babbling. Let's go ahead and, play some Consuming Shadow. You remember, everyone, that I love reading, so I'm going to read everything all the texts and text that we see on screen. Let's do it. So, there are 4 characters in the game, and I only have 3 of them unlocked. I prefer playing the Scholar. I remember playing the Warrior a few times, and I like having a gun in the end, so these two have it. And the Mystery Man requires you to be really quick at beating the game. You have less time, but more money, and you know the entire ritual that's required to banish the god. But you have 1 day to figure out who that god is, get to the location, and banish it. The Scholar is the first character you have in the game, and the only one that doesn't require a special mission to unlock. It's also my favorite one to use. So I think, as of in years past, we will start with the Scholar. A character, a gun, and 60 hours to save the world. Terrifying visions of the ancients swim through my mind, combined with visions of Stonehenge. I estimate 3 days before the barrier breaks down and one of them invades. I have the ability to incant runes in the ancient tongue, but I do not know what incantation sequence will banish the evil, nor do I know which evil to banish. What I do know is that I will never determine these things by sitting here and letting the time tick away. So, I'm level 7. That means that I have failed and or won the game several times and have earned experience points. We're allowed to place 6 stars. As you can see, these stars give us increased chances of earning things throughout the game. I'm thinking we'll put a star in between these two. Do I want spells? So this chance is a chance that you will gain a random spell through exploration or what have you. I think we'll do it. I think we'll take it. I want more medical. I want more random spell chance. I can get 3 if I go right for the magician. Let's do that. Oh, hello. We can get random spell chance, random equip chance, and a tiny bit of health. Put one there. Our crab's random equipment and health. So I also, as you can see, I do like trying to get multiple benefits if possible. And then maybe we'll just go for some more health. My last star. What's over here? More sanity. Let's grab a huge amount of sanity and some more medkit capacity. Alright, this is our character. These are all the stats, what have you, we're gonna earn. Let's get in there. Look for intel in cursed towns. Restock at safe towns. Blessworth would probably be your best place to start. We have 15 pounds, 71 life, 78 sanity. We shouldn't look back. We have equipment that gets put here. Our spells are here. We know that there are 4 runes required for the banishment ritual, but we don't know what runes and where to place, wow, the ancient gods rune in that order. Our notes for anything that we discover here, this will be particularly useful for us to track which gods are present in this game. Any clues we have as to which gods will be placed into which parts of these tables. And this is our health kit. We also have a single shot of some anti-anxiety or like a brain drug that will prevent us from totally going insane if we lose our sanity. Let's get started. And it looks like this is a safe town. This town is not safe. And Dingborough we don't know anything about. Forforth is so close to us, I think we should stop in here and see if we can pick up some equipment. The town is calm and peaceful, oblivious of the shadow. My heart feels pained and heavy as I am confronted by what we stand to lose if I fail in my mission. After an hour, I have found the following items on sale from individuals content not to ask questions. So, we can buy bullets, hollow points, and armor piercing. There's also normal standard bullets. And we can also purchase skateboarder pads. We're going to purchase those. And we'll equip them. There we go. And we cannot break our limbs as long as this is now equipped on us. I have some intel that urgently needs to get to Dingborough within 10 hours. There's some extra cash in it if you're willing. Good. That's the next place I would... Oh, no, I don't want to do this. Return to the car. That's the next place I wanted to go anyway, so let's go here. During the course of the game, we will receive texts from unknown numbers. We can look at the text, at which case we stand to either gain a little bit of money, maybe some sanity if we lost any. You could also lose sanity from this if it's something that we would not want to see. Let's read at least this text and see what it contains. I will pull out your bones and drink the marrow as your remains twitch and burble at my feet. We have reached Dingborough. Let's enter the town. The message is received by a flustered man dressed in not dissimilarly to myself. He is agitated enough that I am forced to awkwardly remind him of the agreed payment before he can run off, whereupon he throws a handful of notes at me and disappears into the shadows. The town is calm and peaceful, oblivious of the shadow. My heart feels pained and heavy as I am confronted by what we stand to lose if I fail in my mission. We have 18 bucks, so we're going to go ahead and find supplies again and look for another piece of equipment. After an hour, I have found the following items on sale from individuals content to not ask questions. We'll purchase a military flashlight. Let's equip that. There we go. This increases our visibility when we're inside a mission. Next, to Blessworth. We know this town, because it's a red circle, has been consumed by the shadow. we will have an opportunity to solve this problem. However, it will be difficult, as all towns consumed by the shadow are. The town is suffering under infestation of small scuttling creatures. They attack randomly, killing cats, stealing food, and injuring people. It is clear that this is only the beginning of something terrible. I feel that it won't be long before these creatures grow larger and bolder, or someone gets some monstrous infection from a scratch. This has to end now, and it is I who must end it. I uncovered word of some kind of domestic terrorist imprisoned for sending elect materials through the mail. And these materials apparently differed greatly from the traditional anthrax or letter bomb. All of his special packages were destroyed except one, which was misaddressed and returned to parcel storage. Shortly after, the infestation began. The post office storage building is, I think, the next place to look. It's been a while, everyone, so I actually need to look at this really quick. Casting mode is tab. Okay. There's a single nest somewhere in here. You can pistol whip. This is what I'll be using mostly, I think, of, in order to do melee damage. You can fire by hitting the left button or spacebar to shoot the bullets you currently have armed in your pistol. Some doors are locked and will require keys to open them. Or you can try using lockpicks, but the chance for you to succeed at using lockpicks is rather low. Fleeing a room that had a monster on it will cause you to lose some sanity. I found a set of keys. These should make exploration easier. The EU rune has been inscribed on the wall here in white. A generic prayer to a god, not necessarily the god perverting this place. It could be intended for an associated deity. So all I know right now is that the EU rune is in play in this mission, and that its color was white. We can cast an EU spell here, or rather we can cast this singular rune. As I invoked the rune, I felt a wave of answering energy from the wall. I felt an inexplicable ease upon my mind, and that restores a tiny bit of sanity to you. I found 3 unfired hollow point bullets that appeared to have been hastily concealed here. Monsters will repopulate areas you have been through. You can be attacked from behind as well. It behooves you, especially early on, to search the entirety of the locations you come across. I recovered 3 armor-piercing bullets, which seem to have been held as a keepsake or a trophy. I recovered 2 armor-piercing bullets. The god identified by the EU rune doesn't appear to be able to physically survive in our universe. The threat it poses to us is very real, but thankfully indirect. So we've learned this clue. The god identified by EU is not the invading god. We don't know what role it plays, but it's not the one that we need to banish. I believe my business in this place is concluded. I should head for the exit. Often, you will now run into some nightmarishly strong creature that will attempt to stop your retreat out of the place. Mostly garbage, but there's a piece of sturdy wire that I could probably twist into a lockpick. Woo! The creatures still infest every crack and shadow of the town, but I have ensured they will no longer breed. A combined effort by the locals will be enough to exterminate the remainder. I can move on now. Wow! I didn't take any damage! That's pretty rare. Okay, we also left with more bullets than I went in there with, which is pretty darn good. And we got a little bit of clues, and our sanity is back up to full. Next, let's go to Winchester. That will give us access to the most towns around here. You received a text from the Ministry of Occultism. Clues go into your notebook, but sorting them is your responsibility. You may want to make use of a table to keep track of it all. I am forced to stop by an altercation in the middle of the road, and as I open the car door, I hear the hideous sound of several malformed throats gurgling victoriously. The minions of the shadow have brought down some poor soul, and appear to be arguing over who may begin consuming the victim before life escapes them fully. Several of them become aware of my presence. The moment calls for action. Without further thought, fight them off. Oops. Two standard rounds, we took some damage there. Thankfully, the poor wretch that had attracted the creatures is still alive, and the damage is only superficial. He is extremely shaken, however. I inform him that he was attacked by youths wearing Halloween costumes, and this seems to bring him comfort. He gives me 12 pounds as a reward, and hurries away. Let's stop and heal ourselves. We have 79% left on this med kit before we'll need to purchase another one. We have reached Winchester. The townspeople here are friendly in the most disquieting way possible. They smile but rarely blink, and invite me to some private meeting place within minutes of conversation. When pressed, the apparently unaffected people mutter disquieting stories of friends and loved ones returning from meetings with changed personalities. The smiling ones all wear gloves and baggy clothing buttoned to the neck, as if their flesh must remain hidden. Everything points to some kind of evil consciousness, a dark, controlling presence buried somewhere out of sight, puppeting and perverting. The common factor between the afflicted ones is membership in a mansion-like secret society dating back centuries. Their meeting place is barely a secret, the private residence of its current Grand Master. The house is in the Upper Market District, a grand, classical mansion in a state of slight disrepair. The society are meeting tonight, it seems, and the door is wide open. There will not be a better opportunity. Oh, looks like we're taking the place of Dr. Whom at the moment, aren't we? Find and exterminate the large creature bewitching this town. Okay, this will be a tough one. There's some difficult late-game monster that we have to find and kill. The EU rune has been inscribed on the wall here in white. As I invoked the rune, I felt a wave of answering energy from the wall. You might not gain anything, by the way, from casting the rune that you saw. Oh, Tim. I found 3 unfired hollow point bullets that appear to have been hastily concealed here. Dear Meg, my teenager has been reading some very strange books lately, and has suddenly announced an intention to paint their bedroom yellow, describing it as the color of pain. Should I be concerned? We know a little more information. A body lies at my feet. The feet are raw with blisters. They must have been fleeing from something with no apparent concern for the pain. I saw the monster, which is why it's red. That's probably what we need to defeat. So we'll search other things first. A body lies at my feet. They died with their limbs drawn up and their hands covering their face, desperately trying to block out the nightmare around them. Fear. Fear must be playing a role here. Of all the monsters to fight, I was hoping not to see this one. I'm never good at fighting this one. The syllable SHM had many usages in the language of the ancients, most notably as the third symbol of a notorious dispel purported to be powerful enough to banish a god. Nothing left for me here. I can escape now by the same way I came in. But we have a few more rooms we should try to check. I found an ancient 9mm pistol with 2 usable bullets in the clip. The Aang rune has been inscribed on the wall here in white. It could either be a marking of territory or a gesture of thanks or recognition to another god. The rune upon the wall seemed to respond to an invocation. There was a wave of recognition I found strangely reassuring. Probably not the invader. My guess would be yellow is the invader currently, based on the limited clues we've currently picked up. This is the one, Billy. This'll show the other kids not to pick on us anymore. You just have to remember to chant it when they're very close by or it won't work. K-Z-E-U. Kazoo. That's probably a damaging spell. I hate you for hitting me. The townsfolk are not immediately better off with the extermination of the creature behind their enslavement. There have been several murders and suicides already as the memories of their actions return. The best thing I can do for them now is leave them to heal. We took quite a bit of damage there. We have enough supplies to do another area. I think we will go to Saxport. You received a text to the Ministry of Occultism. I have some intel that urgently needs to get to Castle Hill within 8 hours. Don't expect a warm welcome there if you let this slide. Stop. Where is that? Wow. So we can still go to Saxport. It's a friendly town. But then we'll have to go to Lawholm and then immediately Castle Hill. The town is calm and peaceful, oblivious of the shadow. My heart feels pained and heavy as I'm confronted by what we stand to lose if I fail in my mission. After an hour, I found the following items on sale from individuals content not to ask questions. We'll take this to prevent anxiety. And we'll try to make it to Castle Hill, but we may not be able to make it there in time. You received a text from a family member. I know what you're doing is important. I don't know how I know, but I feel it. Do what you have to do, and make sure you come back to us. A police siren jerks me into full alertness. There's no ignoring that they want me to stop. Can I allow myself to be delayed at this point? Not if I want to make it to that town. Speed up. I try to make a break for it, but the road is too straight and the police too well trained. I am quickly boxed in and hauled out of my vehicle. I lost 6 of my precious remaining hours in interrogation before being released on my own reconnaissance. I cannot allow this to happen again. There's a lot of fighting on the streets of Alsmouth. They could use some hands-on assistance. You don't have to help out, but these things escalate quickly. So, we failed Castle Hill, and it is now hostile. We will go to Almsmouth instead. As soon as I arrive, I see creatures of the shadow infesting the streets, attacking wantonly. The people are making a valiant effort to fight them off, but the struggle could go either way. I prepare to lend my effort to the resistance. Oh, what the heck? I started with that thing hitting me. 3 more normal bullets. Thankfully, my small contribution has been enough to turn the tide. I am able to give advice on future defense. The local authorities are grateful, and when I none too discreetly mention the posted reward, seem happy to pay it promptly. I feel quite buoyed by the clean air here, and the people are friendly enough. It can only be a matter of time before they catch the Shadow's attention. We're going to heal. And then, since we're here, let's go ahead and visit the hospital. There is a discredited doctor operating a backstreet surgery here. They will heal me without question as long as I have the cash. Let's refill our med kit. And let's return to the car. Next, Castle Hill is hostile, so we know there's a guaranteed... Well, there is some guaranteed information here, and we kind of need it. Let's head here. You received a text from the Ministry of Occultism. There's fighting on the streets of Twinrow. They could use some hands-on assistance. There's some extra cash in it for you if you're willing. Where is that? Okay, we can go there next. I go to the address to which I was supposed to deliver the message, but there doesn't seem to be a building there. There aren't even any foundations for one. There's just a yawning black chasm that seems to go down forever. I leave the message at the edge, but it's safe to assume I won't be getting any payment. It's too late for the people of this town. There don't seem to be any left. Some terrible organized force has torn open a gaping hole in the fabric between worlds, which has replaced all life in this town with hideous, creeping essence. Undoubtedly the work of one of those idiotic cults that think hastening the coming of the Shadow will in some way endear them to it. The rift here is nowhere near as big as the one that will bring the Ancient, but it has been enough to all but destroy the town. Before I encamp the roots necessary to seal the rift, I need to be next to it. I didn't expect finding its exact location to be much of an issue, considering that every corrupting cloud is pointing directly at it. It was impossible to miss. The tallest building in the skyline, an ultra-modern office block. The symbolism of power made it an obvious focal point. I hope my incantation skills aren't too rusty. We're going to start meeting some tougher opponents here soon. To counter a cultist, cast the spell they were casting as soon as 2 runes are on screen. I found a set of keys. These should make exploration easier. The animosity is rooted in the suffering reportedly endured by a worshipper of Sho while captured by the cult of Yushig. Yushig worshippers seem to tell the story the other way around. That doesn't... Oh, no. We don't know the name. So we know 2 of the names, but I have no clue which colors they are. Probably one is pain, would be my guess, and the other is one of these, but I'm not sure which one. That takes care of the seal. Only thing left to do is close the rift itself. It's no longer protected. I don't like this room for some reason. There's some kind of survivalist cache here containing 2 hollow point bullets. Another victim of the shadow. The feet are raw with blisters. They must have been fleeing from something with no apparent concern for the pain. For some reason, a perfectly functional lockpick has been left here, perhaps to be recovered later, or perhaps it fell out of the guy's pocket. Interestingly, the name Sho is, as well as the associated symbol, is only ever inscribed in yellow pigment. To do otherwise is considered ultimate blasphemy. As I suspected. So... we just need to know which of these is the invader. I'm still to this day not sure if invader's enemy can also be the allies' enemy as well. So it's very important that you make sure you get it right, because I certainly still am not quite sure on that point. In the case of the 4-rune incantation, the last rune denotes the recipient of the spell. In the banishment ritual, for example, it would be the rune of the creature being banished. Unless there's any more loot to be found, I can safely call this operation complete. Time to go. I've recovered 2 armor-piercing bullets, which seem to have been held as a keepsake or trophy by that strange creature crawling along the wall. Or ceiling. Walls, Tim, are vertical. Ceilings are horizontal. Or on diagonal. With the rift closed, the endless ringing buzz has been replaced by the deathly quiet of a deserted ghost town. Still, ghosts are preferable to what resided here when I first arrived. I hurry back to the car. The god identified by the EU rune is not the invading god. Yellow is the concept of pain. Chozo is the enemy of Yushug. Chozo is associated with the color yellow. So we know for a fact that Chozo is pain and the enemy, not the ally. So we know for a fact at least this is true so far. I think we can do one more location. If we go here, we can get paid. But do I want to spend time going there? Because then we have to double all the way back down here. How much time is left? If I was to go here. Oh, I won't know until I lose another some more time. I guess we could arguably use the money. It's gonna take us 3 hours to get there, though. No, you know, I hate to say it, but we should probably go to Kidhope instead. Kidhope, Hersham, Holberry, and hopefully at that point we have enough information that we can head to Stonehenge for the last of it. Losing 6 hours to the cops was pretty bad. Out of curiosity, I stop when I see a man in a tailored business suit in the road, standing exasperated beside an extremely expensive car. He tells me that he has locked something important inside the car and asks for my assistance. His awareness of the shadow and its effects seems to be somewhat limited if he isn't simply blocking it out. We have a pick. Let's try this. It takes about an hour, but after I remember a trick I once read concerning the lock of classic cars, I get the door open without causing damage. The man takes a leather briefcase from the seat and holds it to his chest like a newborn child. I cough meaningfully, and he remembers to give me £18 as a reward. Lost an hour, but that payment will go a long way. I think we'll just ignore this number. Almsmouth. The atmosphere is tense here as news has spread of the darkness infecting neighboring towns. Besides that, I cannot sense the shadow's influence. For now. Kidhope, I think, next. Or we could go to Hersham. And then that will let me choose one of these to go to. If I really have the time, I think I can risk going to Burton, Old Owl, and then back around. Something strikes my front bumper, and I screech to a halt. I'm on a forested path and can't see anything in the road. I get out of the car, but there is nothing around, and not even a dent in the bumper. Then, I am rooted to the spot by a gruff voice, coming from somewhere in the darkness ahead of me. "Get away from the car," it growls. "Move away from it, and step forward." We actually have the item this time around that will let us successfully interact with this event without it being a penalty. Generally, one of these is positive and one is negative. Or rather, one is negative and one is not negative, I suppose I should say. This generally ends with a more positive outcome. I took up my military flashlight and its high-powered beam cuts through the darkness immediately surrounding me. I hear panicked footfalls among the vegetation and immediately run for their source. Whatever living being was there has escaped, but around their hiding place I find a small cache of armor-piercing ammunition and money, specifically 5 bullets and 23 pounds. No. While completely free of humans, this town is far from quiet. The very air is thick with otherworldly power, and the clouds spiral and churn towards the center of what can only be a big dimensional rift, deliberately open and kept open. There are still people on this plane of existence misguided enough to want to summon otherworldly forces, and it's worth noting that this rift is a fraction of the size it will open for the Ancient, and it still reduced this place to a ghost town. Seeing the rift will mean getting close to it. I didn't expect finding its exact location to be much of an issue, considering that every corrupted cloud is pointing directly at it. There were roughly over a high-rent suburb, and a small amount of investigative driving led me to the door of an unassuming detached family house. But it is the only house with illuminated windows, and not with the kind of light that comes from bulbs. We could use some lockpicks. Every lockpick you use that fails to open the door will increase your chance by 5%. In my honest opinion, this number should be much higher. I would prefer this to be 35%, not 15 to start. So I very rarely use lockpicks unless I absolutely must use all of them to open that door. While not this signature color, the god Baryla is also shown to have an affinity for the color purple, which is associated with an allied deity in the ancient pantheon. Balai is allied with the god associated with the color purple. Not sure if this is accurate, but I think so, right? We know Chozo's yellow. Baryla is allied with a god that's purple. And we know white is not an invader. EU's not the invading god. Baryla is allied with a god associated with color purple. Yeah, I think this is correct. I think this is right. Baryla is not the invader, is the white EU rune. We don't know enough information about this, but it could still be Shem. We've seen a Shem rune hanging in the air, white, which means that it's one of two gods, because we've seen EU in white as well. If we had seen a Chozo rune, I don't know what it is yet, but it was upside down and in white. That would be considered an insult to that god. Unlike most of the other times I played this game, by the way, you guys will have a chance to give your input, because I'm not recording the next part until this part gets uploaded. Oh god, I hate when you do that. A body lies at my feet. Something must have torn their bowels and lower torso apart in a state of animalistic frenzy. This must be one of the seals holding the rift open. It can be dispelled by incanting the rune it depicts. That takes care of the seal. Only thing left to do is close the rift itself. I really want to find the key first, though, to open those doors. Another victim of the shadow. Their body seems to have been ripped open in several places, and the wounds repeatedly violated in unspeakable ways. That is lust. So, lust would be my guess for God 2 so far. Keys? Set of keys. The carving dates back to at least 6000 BC and depicts Yusheg praying blessings and tribute to the figurine labeled the God of Fear. Its value as an antique is unfortunately meager. Yushag is an ally of the God of Fear. So this is my guess so far, based on the clues that we have. We'll look at them again, everyone, if we make it to the car. I was hoping not to find the rift. Well, we're here. Let's seal it. The god of pain is not the god attempting to invade. I know you're reading this, scholar. Your actions will have far further reaching consequences than you could possibly imagine. We know that already, because we know that Chozo is the enemy of Yushag. Oh, well, technically, yes, we knew this already, and we also knew that EU is not the invading god. We knew all that already. This is probably, I guess this might be Aang? I don't know this rune. Not for a fact yet. I believe my business in this place is concluded. I should head for the exit. We want that red door first, though. There's often something in here. Not today. Yes! With the rift closed, the endless ringing buzz has been replaced by the deathly quiet of a deserted ghost town. Still, ghosts are preferable to what resided here when I first arrived. I hurry back to the car. Okay, everyone. We should stop here. So, let's take a look at what we've got so far. We're missing 2 runes. So, we still have to investigate more places, even if my guess is correct. Here's my current guess. Well, actually, I don't... Do we know? Well, okay, let's just read all of these to you guys. The god of pain is not the invading god. Yushag is an ally of the god of fear. This, by the way, tells me... Well, at least this one line tells me that Yushag and the god it is allied with is... one of them is the invader. Baryla is allied with the god associated with the color purple. The god identified by the EU rune is not the invading god. Baryla is allied with the god associated with the color purple. That means that Baryla itself does not have that color. Since it is an ally, and Yushag is allied with the god of fear, this tells me or hints strongly that these two are allied, and that Yushag is purple, which means that Baryla must be white. If I'm right in my logic there. Chozo is associated with the color yellow. The color yellow is associated with the concept of pain. Chozo appears to be the enemy of Yushag. The god of pain is not the invading god, and this tells me, because it's an enemy, that this is not one of the 2 gods, which is either the ally or the... Well, no, it could be the ally if Yushag was the invader. Is that right? No. No, it could be the ally that Chozo hates. But we know Baryla is the white color, which means Yushag is purple. And because it's the enemy, this must be the invading god, is my guess. Until I actually get the information that says this is the god invading, I'll leave this as possible invader as my guess. But this is also what I think are the aspects in current colors. This is the most important one that we need to know. Shem. Oh, actually, do we know that's the right rune? Do we know that's the right rune? No. No, we don't know that. We don't know that, so I should not have put that there. I'm guessing it's that because we've seen that before, but we've also seen Aang in white, haven't we? We did see white, didn't we? Where's my... Yeah, we saw this floating in white. We'll leave this empty. We're still not sure. But this is what we need to find out, since I think Yushag is the invader. Anyway, based on information, if you guys disagree or have some other ideas as to what is doing horribly wrong, let me know in the comments. And I hope you guys like this one. I'll see you all in the next one, where we'll probably be attempting to beat this one. And I will see you guys then. Take care, everyone.